think that our variety in Stortford is our strength. It's always been a town that's attracted people from all over the country and all over the world. It was a coach stop between Cambridge and London in the 1700s. It was a place where people came from the outside villages to the market. It's been with the Stansted Airport, of course. It's a place where people, pass through. So it's been this transient place, but people stop and settle as well. And they bring those things from everywhere together.
This episode is supported by a proper local clinic just outside of Bishop Stortford. Most people don't wake up planning to see a chiropractor. It's the stiff neck that won't ease, the bad back that's killing your sleep, or that pain that suddenly makes work and family life harder. Takeley Chiropractic help people get out of pain and, even more importantly, stay out of pain. They don't rush you. They take time to understand you and make you feel better. They want to understand what you want to get back to doing, whether that's work, sport, or just spending time with your family. They're a local team, highly qualified, and recently they won an award for outstanding patient care. Have a look at takeleychiropractic.co.uk and see what they're all about. Welcome to the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast, the show where we shine a light on the incredible businesses, community leaders and local legends shaping our town. I'm the host, James O'Donnell, and today we are joined by Jools Abrams. Jools, great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
For those of us who don't know you and what you do here in the Bishop Stortford community, who are you and what do you do?
So, yes, I have been a Stortford resident, obviously local because you refer to it as Stortford, not Bishop Stortford, for about 30 years, although I knew the town from the age of 18 when my parents moved down here. And we moved down for work and because obviously they were close by for babysitting duties. And I was teaching in the town and for some years had wanted to be a writer and didn't really have the time or the opportunity until we'd been here in Stortford for a few years. And now I actually have the word writer on my passport and I am a professional ghostwriter and I've written about 40 books for other people, about 10 of my own. And I also contribute to local writing groups and to local publications like The Bish and The Indie as well. And that's how I wouldn't say make a living, because it doesn't really pay the bills, but that is my main focus of life here now, is my writing.
What was the spark from moving to not being a writer to becoming a writer? Is it something you'd always done and you just needed more time?
I'd always written stories,
mm-hmm.
but I didn't know anyone who was a writer. I mean, the background I come from, it's not considered a job. I had no idea of what writers did. And I went through school and I went through uni and then I started teaching and I started writing more again. And I started writing for children because I was teaching children. And I suddenly had 2 children of my own. So I started writing for them. And then I started to take it more seriously. I think I was writing assemblies and plays within school. And between part-time teaching, I began to get a network of local writers that were supporting me. And I just thought, well, perhaps I should just cast my net further and see what comes back. I started doing some screenplays with the Script Factory in London. And I think it was winning a couple of overnight screen challenges. And then I had Rupert Graves reading my screenplay. And I thought, oh, maybe I could do this. I got involved with Saffron Screen, doing a young person's film festival there and writing some content for them. And then I had the opportunity to do an MA in London at Birkbeck. And of course, we are not that far from London. So I used to go to work when I was working at Hatfield Forest as the education officer. And then I'd get on the train and go up to Bloomsbury and flounce about writing, doing the course there in children's literature and creative writing. So that was when I really thought, I need to do this more. and I need to, take it more seriously. And I had the opportunity after then to work with a couple of agencies as a ghostwriter. And that was about 10 years ago. And that's what I've done since. Really, the main body of my work has been writing life stories and memoirs for other people.
So for those people who don't know what a ghostwriter is, how does that process work? Do people come to you? Do you go to people, or does the agency go to people?
Yeah, well, it's a very interesting process. It's this sort of spectral presence that you are as a ghost, that you go and haunt people. No, basically, you are writing for somebody, given their ideas or their life story. So you need to go and interview them. You need to get to know somebody really, really quickly. And you're writing as if you are them. So you are the ghost that is occupying their voice. And I really do believe that we all have a story to tell, but there are many different ways that we tell the same story. So we all have very similar human experiences. And as a ghostwriter, you have to have a lot of empathy with people's own life experiences, because you need to write so much as if you are that person, transform their story for publication, which is what most people do. So we tend to work on 3 to 6 month interviews where I will go for a couple of hours each week, and then we'll come to a final draft, and then the company, the agency that I work for, put that into a published book, which is then just for family and friends or for the general public and is distributed in that way. So it's a wonderful way of meeting people. It's great if you're nosy about other people's lives, which I am. So, you just get to find out so much. And I've worked with some really lovely people, and I've had the honor of representing them, if you like.
Yeah, it must be incredible to, as you say, get to know so many people, not just on the surface as well. You must get really kind of deep down and understand kind of what makes them tick, and then be able to turn that into a narrative.
Very, very true. I mean, you get to know people really quickly. Sometimes they become a constant presence and they become friends and you see them afterwards. Sometimes you finish the project and then that's the last of it. I mean, I don't see my name on these books when they're finished. Occasionally, a client will say, I want, to acknowledge you. So we've done some sort of different books over the years. I did one with the owner of Bread Ahead. So this was a children's book that we did. So he put my name on the front, which was very kind of him. So occasionally there have been projects which have been books of a children's story or business books. Mostly they are life stories. And because people are talking to you one-to-one and you're writing their story, they'll tell you things that they haven't told anybody else, including their own family, which you often have to clear. Are you sure you want to say this? But yeah, it's almost like a type of therapy, the way that you work with people. I'm not a trained therapist, but writing your life story and working in this way with a ghostwriter can be really therapeutic. It's helped my writing as well, because obviously I'll pick up on things about character quirks and things that I'll then add into my own fiction. I'm not naming any names, but obviously different life stories that people have has given me ideas for plot lines and things. So I will go ahead and add those. It's fleshed out my own writing.
Do you find that you have, this is something that I've noticed in myself because I interview quite a lot of people, is I pick up a lot of phrases, turns of phrase and kind of tonality from people. My wife says I'm quite empathetic and I've got high mirror neurons, so I'm always kind of soaking up what other people are saying or feeling. Is that something that you notice in yourself?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. I think also coming from like a background, a northern background with Irish heritage, I'm used to hearing so many stories. Before I'd actually started, reading myself and reading other people's stories. And you definitely pick up on all these intonations, you pick up on people's different experiences. It can be sometimes, if you're dealing with someone who's had a traumatic experience, you're absorbing all that and reliving it with them as well. So you sort of have to get home and then put everything on one side and take the dog for a walk, because you do, though you can be over empathetic and it can all sort of sink into your own personal experience as well. But then that's the cost of really creating a true life story, is being able to give something of yourself, an exchange, with the person who's telling you their life story. And for them to be able to trust you to tell it well, there's going to be some sorts of confession and acceptance from you as a ghostwriter as well, that you're going to have to honestly represent them.
People are out there now thinking about career changes or new careers for themselves. Is this something you'd recommend?
Well, I would say I have a portfolio career, which basically means I've got a finger in every pie. I do lots and lots of different things in the locality. So I did different jobs after college, and then I decided that I wasn't really getting anywhere, so I retrained as a teacher. And then after teaching for a long time, I moved into tutoring. And then it came to a point where I had the opportunity to do more writing as well. So I would say, you're never too old or too stuck in your ways to make a change and to try something else. And there is the strength about the place that we live. You have to go looking sometimes. It doesn't necessarily come to you, but there is so much that you can do. If my husband's retired now, considered teaching. Lots of people who retire consider teaching. I would say, no, don't do that. But there are lots of other things that he's found to do in the local community that have kept him busy. It depends what you want from life. I would say just think about what's important to you and find a job that fits. You don't necessarily want to be living for work. You want to be working to live. Is that the right way around? It could be the right way around. Either way, if you're lucky enough to be able to have the basics in life, then anything else is a bonus, and you can find some work that is interesting and enjoyable to you.
What about the community, our community, makes it, I'm going to say easier, probably the wrong word, makes it richer for you?
I think what helped with moving to this area was I was coming from a place that was very creative. I was coming from, like, we used to live in Liverpool, but a creative place, but not necessarily the opportunities. What we have here are the opportunities for creativity through the community that we have. So one of the first things that I got involved in about 20 years ago, and it's a group that's been going for about 40 years now, I looked in the local paper. We used to have a sort of what's on section, and there is still the equivalent of that online if you look. And there was a group called the Women's Group who met at Harlow Outdoor Centre. And once the kids were at school full time, I thought, I'll see if I can, find out a bit more about this. And I ended up joining this group. And my first session was high ropes, which was terrifying. I'm not great with heights anyway, but the fact that the women were so supportive and the camaraderie, and over the years, it's that group really that have boosted my confidence and given me the confidence as I've grown older to try new things and to keep going, to be a bit more tenacious with their support. That community group, we're now called She Who Dares, not the women's group anymore. And I've been with them for over 20 years. They've been going over 40. I'm organising an event for them as a celebration with help of other group members later this year. I'm off tomorrow morning because it's Wednesday mornings when we meet. I think we're doing paddle tomorrow in Standon. Now, that's nothing to do. We usually do paddling like kayaking. It's nothing to do with that. It's a bat and ball game of some sort.
Yes.
And I've also written a book about them because that's what I do. I'm, a writer. So that should be out in April, available on Amazon. But really, that community has boosted my confidence. Lots of other communities locally, the community of women that Adriana Wellham does, the Vida Wellness, the Sam Poyser with Own Your Joy. I think that has been the difference from where I used to live to where, I spent the last 30 years, is that the local communities have increased my confidence and their ability to go out and do different things that I didn't have the chance to do before.
What about this community that is so peculiar that allows these groups to thrive so much? Because it's something I've noticed since starting my podcast and, encountering all these amazing groups.
I think that's a really good point. There's something about Stortford that a lot of the people who are here and have been here over the last 30 years I've met, like myself, we're incomers. We've come from different places. And so when you come from somewhere else, you're seeking out the same. You're looking for people who will have a similar experience to you, have a similar background to you. And I think that our variety in Stortford is our strength. It's always been a town that's attracted people from all over the country and all over the world. It was a coach stop between Cambridge and London in 1700s. It was a place where people came from the outside villages to the market. It's been with the Stansted Airport, of course. It's a place where people, pass through. So it's been this transient place, but people stop and settle as well. And they bring those things from everywhere together. I mean, something else I do is food tours in Bishop Stortford with Hello Food Tours. And they do food tours in Saffron Walden as well. But the strength of the Stortford ones is the international variety that we have in town with the Greek and Italian and Turkish cuisines and Nigerian and American and so many different cuisines and so many different cultures that come together. And I think really it's the fact that we're cosmopolitan supports our community.
Yeah. There's something about it being an old market town, as you say, transient between Cambridge and London, and then also with the airport and the fact that it's grown so much and the amount of good schools there are here, it attracts a certain mindset of people who are not just going to kind of sit on their laurels. They're kind of going to get out and get involved with stuff.
I think that's very true. And I think because of the places that people have come from, like other cities like Manchester, Liverpool, Leeds, London, they want to bring something to the community. They want that cultural experience where they live. They don't want to just be a commuter, to go and work in London, to come home, to sleep, to get up again. Obviously, there are many of us who have to do that. My husband did it for 25 years, hated it. But we want something more when we have those snippets of free time, of leisure time. We don't just want, to go and visit a chain store or go and sit in front of the television. We want to meet other people. We want to experience independent businesses, different cultural experiences, rather than just a mono sort of, let's just go home and just sit and do nothing. People who come here want to do something. It is not a people who do nothing town.
That's a great tagline, Jules. We'll write off to the town council and get that.
Yes. It's not people just do nothing. People do something here.
That's awesome. Jules, what are you working on at the moment that you're excited about over the next few months or next 12 months?
Yeah, so I'm really excited that I'm trying crowdfunding for the first time, and I'm working on, having written so many other memoirs for other people, I have now written my own, which is called The Sibling. And it's about my experience growing up with my brother, who was diagnosed as autistic in 1975, which was only 5 years after the National Autistic Society had founded in the UK. And our experience as close yet quite separate children, because of the demands and things that he had growing up, are partly set in the town, because I had the idea to start writing it, obviously, because I'd written so many for other people. I thought, I could do this too. I had the idea to start writing it during lockdown, when we started meeting up, and I would go out for a walk with him once a week, and we'd walk all these different areas. And he came to Stortford when he was 11. So he's always known this town, and he lived in the town until quite recently in supported living. I just thought how our experience as siblings was quite different to those of other friends who have siblings. And I've had a lot of support from a charity called SIBS, who specifically support the 1.7 million siblings of people with learning difficulties and autism and complex needs in the UK. So we're now crowdfunding. I have got enough funds to do a copy edit, which is being done by the lovely Charlie Downs, who is another local writer and resident. And then I'm talking to a local graphic designer for cover and typesetting, and hoping to publish with a local printer and distribute by September this year.
True local piece of work. Incredible.
Yeah, it is. That's the whole idea, is network. Find people who do what you do and who can support you to do what you do.
That's another tagline.
Yeah, sorry.
Jools.
I'm coming out with them thick and fast now.
Fantastic. And you've also recently given a talk at the Radiant at Every Age.
Yes. So that was a delight, but a very nerve-wracking experience, because I was between the grief counsellor and the comedian on the running order.
What a segue.
Yeah, what a segue. And I had to come on to talk about women community and play, which could be taken the wrong way, especially as I came on a space hopper. So that was entertaining. And I talked about She Who Dares, but really I talked about the value of female friendship and camaraderie, and how that can help you through difficult times as age comes with all its challenges. For women, the menopause, dealing with elderly parents. That's another theme of the sibling, actually, is obviously my parents have done so much for my brother, but as they age, it's my responsibility to step up. So there are other caring responsibilities. So it was really about taking the opportunities to just enjoy life and be silly and have fun and play wherever possible.
Jools, it's so great to have you on the show and to shine a light on all the different things that you're involved with. It's been really interesting to talk about the community and how you've added to it, and it's also supported you in the work that you've done there. What's the best way for people that want to follow along with you online and keep abreast of all the different work that you're doing?
Okay, well, I'm across most of the socials, including Blue Sky, but not very often. I'm on Insta mostly as @JoolsDares. I have a website. If you just look up Jools Abrams, it's www.joolsabrams.com. She Who Dares has its own website, which is www.shewhodares.info. And yes, I am sure that if you look hard enough, you will find me.
We will definitely put the links to all of those in the show notes, so that if anybody wants to follow up, they can, and they can reach out to you as well. Because I'm sure there'll be people interested in the She Who Dares setup. I think that's a great group for people to step out of their comfort zone. Nice community.
Absolutely.
Environment.
I think it's mentioned I write for the Bish as well. So I think I'm first article up in the spring issue, which is out now.
Great.
Which is about different groups that you can walk with in the local community too.
Okay, well, hopefully lots of eyeballs will drop onto that, Jools, and they can reach out to you and speak to you directly. Are you ready for some Stortford Spotlight questions?
Go on.
Yeah. These are 3 fast questions that we ask every guest that come onto the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast. First question. If you could put one sentence on a billboard in Jackson Square, no pressure being a writer here, Jools, this has got to be awesome, what would it say, and who needs to hear it the most?
I think it would have to be She Who Dares, wouldn't it? It would have to be She Who Dares thrives.
It's fantastic. What a call for everybody. Not just for women as well. She Who Dares.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
One Who Dares. I think that will work well on a billboard as well. Question 2. Where do you go in Stortford that you secretly hope never gets too popular?
Okay, well, it's just on the fringes of Stortford, but I class it as local because I can walk there. That is the micro bakery at Grandy's Place, run by the lovely Richard, who always has time for a chat And they do a really nice coffee, and you can sit outside and have your coffee there. So I walk the dog over there, have coffee, and it's relatively quiet. Yeah, I like it up there.
Jools, I am both delighted and devastated that you've shared microbakery, because that is my secret pleasure, and I want them to be so successful. But at the same time, please, guys, stop going there and buying up all the stuff, because
it sells out too quickly.
It's all so delicious. That's the first shout out on the podcast. But for me, that is one of the best things in the local area. You've got to really struggle to get better than that. Everything I've ever had there has been just brilliant.
It's great. I'm sure he has got plans for expansion, and it would be nice to see him have a central town location. That would be great. What it would also be really great is if we had an independent bookshop again. I know we have Waterstones, but it's lovely, but it would be great if we had a bookshop and coffee shop as Great Dunmow has. And also, I've just heard that Hertford is opening a books and bottles bookshop and wine shop. What else do you need in life?
Well, there's the I know it's a chain, but in London there's the Notes coffee shops.
Yes.
Which has kind of got music. They sell music.
Yes.
They do really, really good coffee, and also kind of charcuterie and wine.
Wow.
In there. It's a real kind of hodgepodge between all of those.
That's excellent.
Yeah, so something like that would definitely work in Stortford.
Yeah.
Maybe again when all the kids are away at university, that could be something I'll talk to the wife about. Okay, that's awesome, Jools. Thanks for that. Last question. Who's doing something special in town that more people need to know about?
Okay, right. Well, there's a couple of people. There is the Whoosh Canoe Club run by the lovely Helen, who has every year they do a big cleanup of the river as well. They're really making a difference to the environment of the river. And there's also Rachel Hewlett from Hello Food Tours, who I work with too, who does food tours in Bishop Stortford and Saffron Walden. And we also do a self-guided food trail of Bishop Stortford, which I've helped write, which is good fun. I've done it. And you don't fall in the river if you're reading it. So just watch where you're stepping. But yes, I would say Hello Food Tours and Whoosh Canoe Club. So I've got two there, really.
That's fantastic. You're going to help me get them on the podcast at some point?
I would love to. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
We'll do that. We'll make the magic happen. Last time, Jools, best place for people to follow you online?
Best place for people to follow me online is probably Insta at Jools Dares.
Excellent. We'll put that in the show notes. Some great suggestions there, and it would be great to follow the work that you're doing over the next few months as well, Jools. It sounds like a really interesting, busy time for you.
Yeah.
Good busy.
Always good busy.
Good busy. That's excellent. That's a wrap. Thanks so much for joining us today, Jools, on the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. If you enjoyed this episode, the best way to support the show is to hit follow, leave a quick review on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, or Amazon Music, and then share it in your socials or with someone in town who you think should hear it, especially if they're not on social media, so they might not see the clips that we share. Go and show them the show and share with them the stories that Jools has shared today. And if you've got a local legend that you think we should feature next on the show, drop their name below and I can reach out to them and invite them on the show and do a little podcast with them. Again, Jools, thank you so much for joining us on the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast.
Thank you.